and welcome to Flory Models Daily Live at 5 show. Sorry about the intro. Yes, it's back. The big computer turned up actually on Saturday, amazingly, unbeknownst to me, because I was trying to get hold of them and find out when it would actually be back. I'll give them the dues. It's back, it's working, it's fine. But it's just amazing how you can check, triple check and everything else, and you still forget to actually make sure the intro is on the right system. But anyway, it is back. Some of you might know on Saturday we did a little bit of a live broadcast. It's just a little quick one, just to make sure everything was working. The thing that you have to take into account is that we had the computer down here really for 2 weeks, and then it's amazing how quickly everything just gets out of step and is out of date and has got the wrong settings and everything else like that. So obviously when this computer came back to us here, it's a case of right, no problem at all, we've seen, we'll plug it in, it worked fantastic, and then we had to go around and upgrade everything, transfer files across, generally bring it up to speed as was the other one. But hopefully this one's a lot quicker. It seems to be running very well, and as I think I pointed out to you, the reason for the old one was the cooling pump failed and then it cooked the entire system. So motherboard went and the chip went and everything else. So it's had a new motherboard, new chip and a new cooler fitted. So hopefully it is fine. Apparently it's just one of those freak things. But anyway, we are back, we are live, everything seems to be working well. As I said, don't forget this one hasn't had this new system integrated into it either. So a little bit of a learning curve all round, but hopefully we're all good, all right? To be honest with you, all weekend and most of this afternoon I've actually been working on the final reveal video, yeah I know, at last, for the actual I Must Be German group build. We are almost there. I am currently waiting on 2 people to actually get in contact with me. You'll know who you are because I won't name and shame you, but honestly I need to get this done. So if you can get me that photo over, I just need 1 photo. Anyway, I've sent you PMs about it and I've sent you emails as well, all right? So all you got to do is get them over. Everybody else, I have it, okay? It's just 2 people, check your PMs, you'll know who you are, you'll see it in there, and then we'll be good to go. And it does look really good. It's going to be about 15 minutes. We're only going to do 1 photo from every person, but I've completed it. Mammoth job, I must admit. It was a huge job. There's something that's helped us out tenfold, which we'll talk about in a moment because I know it's in my Q&As, but basically there's a hack which is actually a plugin with Google and with Google Chrome and with Firefox, so you can now see all those photos that were blocked via PhotoBucket. Now I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but it's great for me because it enabled me just to go back through everyone's photos as I normally do and scrape everyone's photos off the actual forum. But the other thing that's really nice as well is that instead of getting that horrible "you've used all your limit" thing from PhotoBucket, please pay $400 and we'll unlock it for you, they'll work now like a treat. So everybody who did that knee-jerk reaction of, like, you know, deleting all your things and closing your accounts and all things like that, fear not, some clever person has actually made a hack to get round the problem, and I don't know how long it'll take PhotoBucket to think about it, but what will happen is that you just know that's going to happen. Somebody then will just reinvent another one and another one. So the thing is, for all those people who thought you'd lost all your work and it had gone down the tubes, it's all back, okay? And that's what I mean. Something I've learned about computers and internet and business, I suppose, in general: never panic over that initial thing. I had a feeling something like this would happen. Somebody would have to work a way around this, and somebody's done it, okay? So from now on, just have a little bit of faith, breathe a little bit, and everything will be fine. But as a couple of you now have deleted everything with PhotoBucket, so now yours does also blah blah blah, but all the people who just left it, and let's just see what happens, it's worked, guys. So we've got a good system up there now and it's working absolute treat. So anyway, we're fine. Tomorrow we will have the actual, or hopefully we'll have the actual I Must Be a German group build final reveal video at last. I know it's long, and don't forget I will be doing the other one as well for the SIG that finished recently as well. I'll get that done by the end of the week and we'll all be up to date with you. This morning though, I reviewed this, which I'm biased because we're selling these, as you'll see at the end of the review, but it does come with this. How cool is that? This is like an embossed, it's aluminium or whatever it is, but I say it's tin. I'm just, because it's old school, so it's tin plate type thing. But I absolutely love this. I think this is something where if every kit came with something like this, I would probably just buy it for this, because let's face it, this has got to be worth a couple of quid on its own, isn't it? So, you know, from that point of view, I just think this is probably one of the coolest little things to pop up on your man cave wall or in your studio wall or just in your lounge, okay, and have a fantastic thing, because as I say, it's a beautiful embossed you know, print done like it, and you still get the print in this kit. Don't forget, this kit is an absolute bargain, especially if you pay the members price of 60 quid. I'm just putting it out there. It's 106 quid full recommended retail. We've got hold of a limited number of these for 60 quid. All right. But anyway, you actually get the poster, okay, which is a full sort of A2 poster, I think it is. Then you actually get this as well. Then you get all the browsing bits in this. You get the colour photo etch set, you get the normal photo etch set with it, and obviously you get the kit. And that's not just talk about the actual cartograph decals in this, which are absolutely beautiful. For me, although it's an old school kit, it is still probably going to be the kit of the year, purely because I just love all the stuff you get in there. Yes, if you were paying 100 and technically 10 quid for it, it's a lot of money, but there you go. If you can get it at a bargain price and get it at a member's price for 60 quid, it is laughable. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Anyway, you can go off and see that review. It is up with you right now, and again, there's full details of the actual PMM hobbies, which is obviously Philip and Matt hobbies, part of Flory Models, all the rest of it. That's where you're going to get your members discount. There's a new area down in the forum as well. Go down, have a look in there, and there'll be full details about it as soon as we got this one up for listing. Haven't quite done it yet because we've still got a couple of little tweaks that we actually do before we can actually put these on sale, but we have got a limited number of these up at 60 quid. All right, so if you are interested, have a look, and then I'll be up with more details throughout the week as we make our way through. But to be honest, I haven't put them on there yet because there's a couple of things I need to talk to Matt about, and to be honest, I've been flat out all day actually working on the actual reveal video, so I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but I will do tonight. We'll get it sorted out and we'll go from there. The other thing as well, thank you for all the feedback on the F16 Have Glass. I've had loads and loads of comments about it and all the rest of it, and to be honest, I have been playing this morning with some various things. Like with this guy down on here. I don't know if you can see it, but I've actually started to mute this down and weather it in. So you might see some little patches in there. Now don't forget, this hasn't had a wash or anything out, but what I'm doing is I'm playing with how you would weather Have Glass 5, okay, because this is that dark colour. So when you put it next to, let me go, this is technically the belly colour of an F16 compared to what we've actually got it here. All right, so from that point of view, you can actually see the difference in the colour. All right, so it's quite a darker, funny grey, but actually I do like it. I've seen loads of photos of it now and done a lot of research on it, and I'm thinking this stuff is going to fade not as fast as the old-fashioned Have Glass sort of 3 and 4 systems, but as you might see, I've just put a little tint in there, and what I've actually done is I've just mixed a little bit of light grey in with the actual colour of this one, which is... what have I done with the colour of it? Here we are. So this is the actual camouflage grey. It's FS36170, and it's F16, F35 use. Okay, that's that colour for it. So all I did was mix in a tiny little drop of light grey just in there, okay, which is actually light ghost grey underside colour for the F16, because again, it was that thing, I actually used it for doing the pylons and the bits and pieces all like that. So those have all been painted, the pylons are all done and everything else, and I've started doing the gear doors with this sort of Have Glass 5 colour, things like that, and I'm just playing with just little ideas on how we're going to go about doing it. I'm going to remask up and do the underside of the actual intake, because for some reason those all seem to be a very light colour, and I've already painted a little bit of Have Glass just around this top area, just in preparation for whatever colour scheme we go with. But I am thinking, no one's done it before, it'll be one of those things, sort of lead the way, but I am going to fade it down slightly and just sort of weather it in. So I'm going to use a little bit of artistic license over how I think Have Glass will go after a few months. All right, so again, it's just one of those things. It's, you know, you can follow the crowd or you can sort of lead the way and make a fool of yourself because it doesn't weather like that or something else. If it doesn't, I'll repaint it. The other thing as well is obviously I've got no markings for this in Have Glass 5, so I might have to talk to Ron and we might do a custom set for it, again very similar to actually how we did the A10, and that'll be a nice one for you to follow along with as well. But generally, as you say, it's just one of those things, a lot of firsts with that one about how we're going to do it. Fear not about the Mozzie. I'm going to be starting on tomorrow. We're going to be working on the gun bay. Again, it's going to be separate type build, so if you ever wondered about working with resin and you ever wondered about obviously weathering and type of effects you can do with it, we're going to treat them as standalones, very much how we did the actual FW190 build. So if you remember with that one, we just did the engine, then we did the gun bay, then we did the actual wheel wells and gear and everything else, and it was all separate and we brought it together at the end. That's how we're going to do the Mozzie as well. So there would be nice little standalone parts about super detailing certain areas and going to town things with things like that. Okay, so that's the plan with those. Okay, I have got a load of questions. Obviously, a lot of you were a little bit confused yesterday. UK, I did mention it on Friday that it might not be a vlog or anything else. That's purely because, obviously, the UK is a bank holiday. And I know you guys have got Labor Day on Monday if you're in the US. What I'm planning on doing is perhaps having a one-day build with the F4 as that day. Okay, so you can join me throughout the day if you want to. Don't forget, it will be recorded and it will be up to watch at a later date, but I thought it might be a little bit of fun, sort of Labor Day, something else like that. It's an American jet as well, iconic jet, yeah, something like that. So that's what I was thinking about doing with that one. Anyway, over to the questions. So I'm going to say we've got quite a few to get through today, so I'll zip through them as fast as I can. Okay, so first of all, Chris says, are we on still? I'm just making sure we're still live. As I say, we dropped any frames? No. Okay, Chris says, hi Phil, really enjoying the Live at 5 show. The quality of the new mixing system and the seamless switching between views makes the shows even better. Just wanted to let members know that HM Hobbies, which is our friend Merrick, has just had a delivery of Rosie the Riveters in at the old price, so get them before they go up in price. Great service from Hannah and Merrick, lovely people. Must also mention excellent customer service from Martin at Aircraft Net, who sorted out my mix-up with my Infinity Seal set and sending a full replacement without charge. Rare service these days. Keep up the good work and loving the F16 build. Cheers, Chris. No problem at all, Chris. Okay, so who was this? Chase says, hi Phil, really quick one. That would be the day. Okay, what is the thread that you use for your antennas on aircraft? Can't seem to find other live shows where you talk about them. Thanks. Okay, so, sorry, I need to do that swishy angle. Right, there is a standalone video about it. Okay, which I actually did when we were actually doing the FW190, and the last part of it, if you go to the final part of the FW190, I speak about this stuff in detail and about how I used it, how I put it down and everything else like that. What else did I use it on? Also, I used it on the ME262 as well, so you can see all about it. But basically, it is this stuff. So it's Prim, as in P-R-Y-M, knitting in elastic. Okay, now apparently they do this in a couple of sizes, but I can't see that on mine. I don't understand where it is because I haven't got the package anymore, but this is it. It's great. It's elasticated. You can paint over this with lacquer thinners as well and lacquer paints, and it will not affect it. It goes really saggy to start with, as in you have it like this, and then when you put paint on it, it goes like that, but fear not, because as it dries, it tensions back up and all the rest of it. It's really good stuff. It's easy to use. You don't have to stretch it too much, and it's got no pull on it whatsoever. Okay, it glues really good to itself as well. Drop a super glue and you're good to go, and if you want to strengthen it up, put a drop of PVA glue in there and you'll be absolutely fine. The great thing with it is that this stuff lasts. I had a little bit of a worry when I first started using this, that I thought later on down the lines perhaps this could break down, go brittle, snap, just fall apart, deteriorate, especially because I was painting it with lacquers and stuff like that. That is living evidence in there that because it's been hit and destroyed, but we used it on the Sopwith Camel to do all the rigging, and it's the only thing that held it apart when we had the big accident and the shelf collapsed and it got crushed and smashed to pieces. It survived. It held it all together, and all I did was literally pop it up, drop it back down again, and it was good to go. So I can actually say now that that kit we've been done how long? What, 4 years now? 5 years maybe? No, 4 years I think we've had that kit now, and it's absolutely fine like the day it is. And I've used it from aerials and everything else since using it for the first time on that kit, and it's absolutely fine. So I don't think we have to worry about this stuff breaking down over time, which was my initial concern, because I just thought elastic, you know what rubber bands are like, after a while they go brittle and just disintegrate. That stuff has held its own and had no problem at all with it. But if you look on Amazon or on eBay or anything else like that, or pop down your local haberdashery department, you can pick that up. But they call it knitting in elastic. There's 200 meters on that roll, and I think I paid, I don't know, £2.50 for it. It's really cheap stuff. But some people have said to me, what gauge have you bought? And I'm like, I don't know, I just bought it. So I don't know if they do different sizes. They could do, but I haven't seen it since. Okay. Thanks for all your help and loving the new live shows. No problem. Okay, so Timo says, hi Phil, how can I watch the Live at 5 show and where can I find it at 5 PM? Right, okay, that's pretty straightforward. What I do is there's a section in the live area on the forum, okay, that's called Live at 5, and it always goes up in there first. It's not going to appear in the news feed, so to speak, until after it's aired, because what I have to do is take the recording from it and then put it in all the areas. But if you want to watch it live, just go to the actual live area. In fact, I don't want to tempt fate here too much, but I might be able to show you on this one. Hold on, so I'm going to scrap that because you can't hear me when I do that because I've set it up a different way. But basically, if you scroll down, I'll talk you through it. If you go to categories, hopefully you can see me because I don't want to do it with my phone. So if I do it on my phone, I'm going to be off and be in the wrong place. I've got to get my iPad sorted. But if you go to Flory Models live shows, click on there just the once. Okay, and then right at the top, because it's pinned, it's called Live at 5. If you go in there, you will get a little player. Click on it anytime near 5 o'clock and it will do it. And even if I've started, it will start from where it is and you can wind it back and all the rest of it. But if you want to watch it live at 5, it is just in there like that. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Right, let me just bring this one back. Oh no, I'm all out of sync. This is the trouble now because we actually have two settings. We have this box of tricks here and I've got the old-fashioned way of doing it as well. So yeah, it just takes a little bit of getting used to all of this. Right. Right, so that's guys talking about that. We've done it like there. That was talking about on Friday. Let me just go to the next page. Okay, so James says, hi Phil, great use of the new text, watching the airbrushing tutorial, thank you very much. Just a view from the outside, not a criticism, just an observation. When you split screen, you put the wider studio view in picture on the left, you are sitting on the right and the left of the session. Okay, when you move, it doesn't allow for follow. Okay, I'm trying to keep up with you on this one. If you use the close view and your left hand, oh, I see what you mean. So my left and right, so they appear on the screen. Ah, got you now. When you're in the middle, disappear on the left, on the right. Right, get you. Okay, regards, James. All right, what I'll do is I'll have a little bit of a sort out and I'll try and work it out. Again, the trouble I have is that what I see, I've got this multiple monitor thing so I can see everything that's going on down the bottom there, is that technically it's a little bit different because it's reverse. So it's a bit like if I do that, my hand goes that way. There might be a way that I can mirror it and everything. Again, at the moment I've learned how to use this and I've got it working, but I could do with learning the little intricacies. It's a bit like your camera. You know, you've got your new camera and you stick it on auto and you do everything with auto. I'm very much like that at the moment. So I've got the hang of how to use it. I just need to learn all the little, you know, the little tweaks and twerks like doing that. I can pretty much do everything on this if I learned it all. But again, it's one of those things I need, like, you know, Labour Days to actually learn about it, go through it. And then obviously when we get to doing live stuff, I know what I'm doing with it. But hopefully it's... There we go, look, you get picture in picture of me up here. How clever is that? I just love the way I can manipulate all of this and drag it around and do everything, and it doesn't mind it and all the rest of it. So I think that's just quite clever with all of that one. Never mind, turn that off because I don't like looking at myself. Right, okay, next. Right, okay. This is Nigel. It would be great to see the Phantom build. What could be a good is if you wait for the Airfix 172nd Phantom to come out later this year, November I think. The build with the two alongside each other would be very interesting to see the contrast between a 1975 kit and a 2017 one. The price, that's what will be the difference. It says on the box £1.50, £1.10 for the kit. That's going to be a huge difference. Many thanks for the sandies, and the sponge arrived very quickly last week. No problem at all, Nigel. What I will probably do is I'm not going to hang around and wait for it, purely because, let's face it, the Airfix one, it might not turn up, and I've got a theory. I want to do it for Labour Day next Monday as a live one-day build, something else like that. I just thought it'd be quite a sort of an informal thing. I'll sit here throughout the day and the evening. You guys can join on because technically it's work day for us. We had our holiday yesterday. Okay, but I'll work along with you guys and you can join in with me and I'll carry on going into the evening, and then that way it'll be your afternoon and so forth and so on, depending where you are in the world and stuff like that. But I just thought it'd be quite good. I'll just set the cameras off, we can use all the live stuff and I can just yab it as we make our way through. We'll get the chat room up, you can then throw some questions at me direct, things like that. We can have a look at your work if you're doing some work and put some photos up and things. I thought it'd just be like a really nice interactive day and we can do all those things. All right. Okay, so Mel says, hi Phil, from your Friday 25th of August vlog, I voted have glass 5. Stick to your original plan. Yeah, I think I'm doing that one. Having problems with the gloss coat on the 1970s-ish Hawk F104 with the chrome plates. Boy, talk about simple. You always mentioned flash on tiny bits that you find. Yeah, you do on those types of kits, I must admit. When you review a kit, try this out. I can't see the image. Oh look, that's all I see. It's good actually because you can see what I can see. So sorry, I can't actually see there. Looking forward to the new additions to the site. As I have some items I would like to order without running out. Right, okay, we've got a new product coming out. I can release some details of it. It's going to be another sander and you're going to love it, absolutely love it. First prototypes came through to me today, and then hopefully we'll get the second batch done within the next 4 weeks, and we'll go into full production about 4 weeks after that as well. So hopefully we'll be in time for Telford for those ones. Mel says again, I can't seem to edit the photo. No, we still can't see it. Look, never mind, we'll get there. Everyone's going to find a way, it'll be fine. Okay, hi Phil. Weekly roundup of members video seems to have disappeared. Is this a temporary thing whilst you sort out PC issues? I hope so, it comes back. Looking forward to seeing what peeps have done. Okay, that is an issue because obviously if we're live, I can't do it. Normally what I do is that when I finish recording it, it goes over to editing, I put all the bits and pieces into it, and then at the end of it I put in a photo thing to music and away we go. When I'm doing it live, that's a little bit difficult, but what I hope to do is what we call B-roll in the trade. Yeah, check me out these days. I might be able to do it as a pre-recorded edit thing beforehand, so I might do it during the week and then I'll take your videos, and then by the time we come to the end of the show I can then just hit a button here and then it'll play that video at the end. Alright, so I have got walkarounds to doing all of this stuff. It's just that I have to physically queue it up into a system for it to deliver, but hopefully by the end of this week I would have worked out a lot of the kinks. A lot of it last week, to be honest, was we were using the other computer. It's not as powerful as the one we've got here, and it was just one of those things where I knew it was glitching, so I was having troubles, I was getting lag on this screen, and I didn't want to push my luck by trying to be clever with it. All right, so but hopefully now we're up to speed, we're all good to go, and we'll be fine with it now, so we'll be able to get back up to speed. You'll see all your great work. Also what I want to do is obviously have a look around at people's work, stuff like that, so we'll be getting on with all of those hopefully at the end of the week. Okay, Norris says, hi Phil, here's some members find useful for masking, especially for World War II camouflage. Right, okay, the thing is, it's a link. I don't want to go off on links so that I don't... Oh, hold on, gyro cut. I know what gyro cut is. Gyro cut we've already looked at. In fact, we've got a review for that because craftyproducts.co.uk as well, I know that. Gyro cut we have looked at. Hans did a review on it. I've had a go with one as well. I think it was at beginning of the year, maybe end of last year, we all had a go with it. It's really nice, very easy. Again, it's the one with a swivel blade at the end, so it just goes round again. If you haven't seen us, have a look down on there, but Hans actually did a thing. I think it was during the live shows when we were all on together. We used to, Hans got it out and gave us a demo and did it like that, but I know some of the guys have got it as well. Okay, Peter says, hi Phil, watching your airbrush tutorial and wasn't able to join you live. I'd like to ask, you showed Tamiya matte varnish 50-50 mix, but what about their gloss? Would you use the same 50-50 mix and is it any good? To be honest, old school, that's how I describe it. The old Tamiya gloss is still one of the best ones you can get as far as I'm concerned. It's very easy to use, it's very forgiving as it goes down. It's just because you get the little pots of it, it works out quite expensive when you can buy at other manufacturers and it's in bigger ones and all the rest of it. But yeah, it's still a great product, absolutely. Probably thin it a little bit more. Okay, so maybe 60-70% thinners. You want it nice and wet. If you remember when they're still here, look. Shiny Buster. How shiny is Buster? Can you see how shiny he is? Look at that. I could do the entire thing like Buster Like It. But you know when we were putting this down and I was talking about the wet effect, as in you're spraying back on yourself, so you put down that first layer and then you come back and it's wet all the time. Again, same thing. So if you're using the Tamiya, nice light coat down first, a dusty coat, just gives it something to grip to, and then come back and put a wet one after it, okay? And then it's all nice and wet and it gives it time to self-level. That thing when you're airbrushing it on and you can see across the surface and it's dusty looking and it looks satin, you're going to end up with a satin finish. It needs to be wet so it gives it a time to actually self-level, and then it can go off quite naturally on its own, all right? The other tip as well, if you want really nice gloss work, is to actually use self-leveling thinners, which we speak about all the time. But the great thing is you can use this in Tamiya and Guns paints. Don't use it in Vallejo, because otherwise you're going to end up with bubble gum, all right? But a couple of drops of this mixed into especially things like Tamiya gloss, things like that, give you a super, super smooth finish. And it's all about the finish, don't forget. At the end of the day, you can use much gloss as you like, but when we showed it actually during the demos of this, if your air pressure is too high and you're too far away, you're going to end up with satin at best, or if not, it's just going to be a flat coat and things like that. Okay. Right, Peter says, I'm having an issue with lacquer-based AK primer, sorry, white AK primer, microfiller. After airbrushing a light coat on, and then come back to apply a second coat after 5 minutes of drying, it immediately starts to crack. Well, I must admit, I haven't heard of this. It's the same thing that happens when you spray a dissimilar paint over the top of each other and the layer underneath hasn't fully cured. I have had this happen before. The paints were fully mixed. Sorry, I haven't had this happen before. The paints were fully mixed. I've got the grey, black and the same. I must admit I haven't had this issue. AK primer and have no issues with it. I'm wondering if it's a bad batch of white. I've tried 3 times with the same result. I know you have the grey one, but if you have got a bottle of the white, have you used it with any issues? To be honest, I have got it, and I have a bottle here, white, and I've used it because we're down to like half a bottle here of this particular primer. This is the one we're talking about. It's this bottle here. Okay, I have to say, being honest, I haven't had a problem with it at all. This stuff, I really like it. It's just one of those, you put them down and you don't have an issue. That's why I like it. That's why I like it as a primer and everything else like that. And I know what you're saying, well, you didn't use it on that fill, hypocrite. Yeah, clearly. I do like using Tamiya as well. I just find it's a nice one to go down over. But I don't know. I would be inclined to think, unless obviously you guys, other members, have had the same problem. If you have, please post up and let us know. But it sounds like it could be a dodgy bottle. Let's face it, AK have got form for dodgy bottles of stuff, but they've got great form about fixing the problem. So it might be worth shooting them an email saying, describing it. If you've got any photos, I know they love feedback. It's one of the few companies that actually listen and actually get back to you as well. Okay, but if you shoot them a message and say, look, this is what I've got, this is the issue, look at these pictures, and then, you know, hopefully they'll be able to come back with you, one with an answer, or secondly perhaps with the replacements and things like that, because it sounds like it could be a bad batch. I have got 6 bottles of this. I'm into my 3rd bottle of this one now, and I've never had a problem with it, so I'm thinking it could be a bad batch, if I'm honest. Okay, Richard says, hi Phil, love the site. Lots of your builds use buffable paints. I've been trying to find out what make they are for use on my 132nd Junkers. Okay, I like, let me grab you a couple. Ugh. I like these. Okay, so this is them. Quite tricky to get hold of sometimes. Again, it's one of those things. The chrome actually is really, really nice. You buff it, okay, and the stainless is good. I highly recommend the dark iron because it comes out like black, flat black, and then you buff it. You can buff it pretty much up to anything like a polished metal, okay. But they're really nice, heavy pigment. There's a couple of uses you can do with it, which is things that I do all the time, and one of it is I never clean the brush. So down in here, you can see it actually. If you look at my brush, this is because I never ever clean this brush. So then what happens is when you want to come in and you want to buff something, you can just give it a rub over with this, okay, and then it actually comes out really, really shiny. Okay, and you can actually physically do it, so it's great if you just need something with a quick little wipe over it. You don't want to have to get paint out, you just leave it on the brush and never clean that brush. So I use it purely for using these for hand painting them or anything else like that, and it works really well. The only thing is they're not brilliant about being hand painted. You tend to get brush marks, but if you airbrush this down you get a nice even finish, and then you can polish it up and it's absolutely beautiful. But for small jobs especially, you can just whip around with this, brush it all over it, and you're good to go. There is other ones on the market, but honestly I think for ease of use and for best effect, this is the one I would go with. You know, for buffables anyway. I find them very hard wearing as well. Once it's gone on, although it keeps coming off in your hands, you don't tend to go through to plastic actually on the item that you've done with it as well. So from that point of view, that's the one you want. It's called, it's the actual gun stuff, so it's Mr. Metal Colour. Okay, there's the one. They do about, I think it's about 7 or 8 colours, and they do some weirdo stuff as well. They do like golds and brasses, sort of chromate colours and stuff like that as well, so have a go with those. Okay, Stuart says, hi Phil, think for the F-16 you should go with the earlier have glass scheme. There seems to be more interesting from your description, as at the end of the day it's about producing the most interesting model you can. With the latest have glass seems a little flat and boring. It does, but hopefully I'll be able to bring it into something a little bit more interesting, because I will over-weather it in theory. Right, sorry. Stuart says, do you find the Tamiya glue lids infuriating? Do you have any tips for stopping the seal washer from always getting stuck to the top of the bottle instead of staying on the cap of the lid? Do you know what? I have to agree, because mine do it as well. So what I tend to do is, when I get a good one that doesn't come off, and what we're talking about for you guys wondering, okay, this is what it is. I don't want to get glue near my model. This washer in here has a habit of dropping off, so when you pull the lid off it gets caught round here. Come on, admit it, we've all done it, alright? But sometimes I'll get a bottle and also it's got a really nice brush on it, okay? It's a nice pointy one. I will use that same brush all the time, so I will take that one out and come with me whichever one I'm doing, alright? But I don't know. See this one, classic example, there you go, look, the washer's gone. I knew one of them didn't have it in there because it was doing my head in, so I just got rid of it, okay? But you could, if you wanted to, just put a tiny little bit of super glue in there or PVA glue just to hold that sucker in there in place and stop it coming out. But you might notice if you see the tip of this one is a great tip on this one. I've been using this one for ages, that's why it's gone black and horrible. Okay, but yeah, that's the thing to it. But yeah, there's no easy way. PVA glue it or anything else, because don't forget, in theory, unless it washes right up around it, you're not going to have a problem. But for some reason, they all do it. And I'll be honest with you, it seems to be the newer bottles. I don't remember older ones doing it, or perhaps they just did and I just didn't bother putting the washer back in. But again, with me, because I go through a bottle, I don't know, once every 2 months, something else like that, I tend to, you know, it's a good turnover with them, so it's just keep the lids, keep the bottles. I keep the bottles as well. I've got quite a few of them now because I find them quite handy for other things and, you know, making up fillers and stuff. But if you get one with a good one and it hasn't come off, stick with it. But yeah, it is a bit of a design fault for them. It's not just you. Okay, and oh, hello. So Ant put up in here, so you're looking around for have glass. Hey, look at this. Which issue is this? Is this an old issue? Hold on, has it got an issue date on it? Volume 18. Anyway, global air power. This is what we're talking about. Actually, see, that doesn't look too bad in there, does it? I quite like the scheme. The only trouble is, that's the wrong F-16 that I'm doing. That's an, what, block 40? Something like that. So unfortunately, from my point of view, up around the nose, I've got a bird shredder on mine, and also you can see it's got stiffening plates on the actual body. Well, mine's a block 52, and the 52 doesn't need stiffening plates. It's literally just, I think it's the block 40s, 32s, all the ones pre-52 have to have stiffener plates on the fuselage. This one doesn't, but you can see that's got a little bit of weathering on the body as well, and the things like it. I think we can play with it. I'm reckoning we can probably weather it in. Looking at those, that's nice shots. I think we can actually work with it. It's quite an attractive scheme as well. And yeah, I don't know actually. And to say, I'm doing mine like that as well, as in the pylons are in light ghost grey. But as you can see on the intake as well, they all seem to have that thing. Actually, that's a different version. That's a block 52, I do believe. But I can't see if he's got a bird shredder on the front. The way you can tell is that the nozzles on the back seem to have it. So yeah. Oh, well, thank you for that one. That's great. That's a nice little insight in there. I'll have a proper look at those afterwards. Right, sorry, who was this? This is Rick. Hello, Phil. Love the new camera setup. The order for these decals below. For the, MiG-29 UB Poland 148 scale jet. What model would you use? Now you're going to ask. I'm also planning on building after the Hobby Boss F111 build. Thanks, Ricky. To be honest, I don't know what version they actually fly. UB just means it's the two-seater, which is like the trainer version of the MiG-29, but I'm not sure what version of the MiG-29 the Polish actually do, because they've all got things. It's like saying like an F-16 Block 42, 50, 52s and all the rest of it. I'm not sure what it is. You'd have to do a little bit more research to find out which one. Let's face it, if you're going to do one, there's a couple of little options around for doing the two-seater. Academy if you just want to go pretty much standard and cheap. I don't know about two-seaters actually. Who's done two-seaters? I don't know if Great Wall Hobbies actually released a two-seater, but I'm loving those decals. That's really, really cool. We love the Polish markings as well. Yeah, I will have to do a little bit of homework on that one. Same thing, throwing it open to you guys. Anyone's got any ideas, please post up. Okay, so Jen says, hey Phil, just a quick one. I saw that Wingnut Wings are selling off some of their kits at deeply discounted prices of 50 to 70% off due to water damage. Oh, they had a leak. Heads up to anyone wanting to get a bargain of these fab kits. Jens, thank you Jens, absolutely. So there you go, go and have a look everybody. Jim says, hi Phil. This post was up for right, now this is what we were talking about earlier. Quite interesting. There you go, everyone save this bit. This is about using the hotfix to be able to see photos that used to say you can't see it and all the rest of it. Okay, so if you follow this link here, I'm not going to go to it because obviously it'll take me off of here. There's two little links to follow, one for Chrome, for Google Chrome, one for Firefox. Okay, if you go on there, click on it for the one you want, it will then ask you to, if you're happy to install it. You are, trust me, they're good links. I trusted them because I've got them both on mine now, and then it will automatically install the add-on for you. Okay, and the only thing you'll see now is in your top right hand side on the browser, you get a little thing that says there's a little hotfix in there for it, and that way you'll be able to see everything on there. So as you said, big thanks to Peter Harrison for finding that one, so cheers Pete. Also looking back at post SIGs, and I'm getting a response that some threads are unknown. Now that could be because it's saying Pro Modeler. We're not Pro Modeler anymore. We had to change everything, if you remember, some years ago. So if you just replace the bit where it says Pro Modeler with Flory Models at .webbox site whatever, it's all pre the days. Don't forget, this is going back over 10 years. That's the trouble with those. What I'll do is, because I'm doing a little bit of maintenance around the site this week, I'll go and have a look and I will relink them, because obviously that's the problem with those, and then we'll get them sorted. But thank you for that, Jim. As I said, go off and have a look at that fix and you'll be absolutely amazed by it all. Okay, so Chris says, hi Phil, assuming the PC gets repaired okay, fingers crossed, are you able to upload? Yeah, I'm doing it at the moment. As I said, it's a bit of a thing. It was a hassle with all the things, and I am going to do the Merciless one this week as well. So don't panic with both of those. We will get them sorted out. Chris, by the end of the week, both of them will be up. I will have, I promise, because if the people don't get back to me within 24 hours, I won't be able to put their photos onto it. Unfortunately, there's only two of you, as I say. I won't name and shame you, but you know who you are, so get in there quick, so I need to get them up. All right, and then obviously what we'll do is this week I will do it in batches of 25. It's a bit like, you know, that bit when you're queuing up for the plane and they say, well, rows, you know, A through to D, please come forward. When you're getting on your plane, I'm going to do something similar, so I just don't end up with a million pieces of paper with everyone's names and addresses and all the rest of it, and trying to work out what's UK, what's US, and all the rest of it for posting them out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in batches of 25 every couple of days. So what happens is you'll get an email from me saying, can I have your address? It'll be short and sweet, and then just send me your address. Just remember, full name, don't just give me your address, because I can't and paste it because I'm lazy. Okay, so full name, full address, including your country and obviously your postcode or your zip code or whatever code you have, all in there, and your country as well. So don't just put, you know, like you write it when you're at home, because obviously it's got to come from abroad. Okay, so full name, full address, your zip code, and your country as well. Really important. Okay, we'll handle the rest. That's all you got to do. All right, and then what I'll do is I will get them out as we've got them as well, so they'll go out daily to you, so they'll start filtering in as we go through. But I'm probably going to do it alphabetically as well, just because I got a spreadsheet with all the information on, and I can mark it as like requested and then sent, so I know exactly where we are and everything else like that. All right, so no problem with that. Yeah, it's only 25. I know, it's a nice easy one for that, especially because I've done 200 and what are we up to now? 233 on the current one. P.S. enjoying the new green Sanders, no problem at all. Okay, David says, I think they're talking about that one. Weekly roundup. He's just asking about that one as well. As I said, I'll try and get that one sorted out for you. Okay, so hi Phil, hope you can help. I'm looking some figures for a 148th crew for US Marine search and rescue helicopter circa 1965 to 1980, especially a door operator with a winch in neoprene diving suit. Now you're really getting technical. Do you have any ideas where to find those? No. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, if I'm honest. I don't know, especially because you're trying to go for a diving suit. I know what you want. You just want the swimmer, so it looks like he's going out the door, or perhaps hanging out the door or something. Yeah, that's going to be tricky. I can imagine, you know, you could take a normal figure, a normal trooper, and try and do it, as in sand his equipment all off and paint him orange. I don't know, that sounds really bad, and I imagine me doing it, it would look terrible. But I think somebody who was clever with a little bit of milliput could probably do something. But again, if anyone's got any ideas, you know anything about this, help us out guys, post it up in the forum, and we'll get him sorted out and put it in the right direction. But I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Make a great diorama, or a little dio of some description, because I haven't seen anyone do that, and I think that would look really cool. So there we go, definitely. If not, we'll get going, and we'll start a thing, and we'll get somebody to make us up a little figure. Looking forward to the Matchlock build. A long time ago I built one too. Amazing, I think everyone's built that kit. Okay, so Paul says, hello Phil, really enjoying the live 11 show. I was going to say live at 5, 11 show as we call it here in the CST time. Doing the F-16 build along with you. You mentioned the 3 Edard aftermarket sets you purchased for the build, and you showed them briefly. Can you give me the set number? To be honest, I'm not using them. I know that sounds bad, but the Tamiya kit is just so good. I'm like, doesn't need it, especially because I'm doing mine closed up and all the rest of it. I think it's at the beginning of the video. Didn't I do a thing at the beginning of the video explaining which ones they were? Have I got them here? Hold on. They should be all here next to me. So, hold on. Where we go. So, the panels one, 32517. This is just the placards, which I haven't used yet, but I might use them down underneath and all the rest of it. Okay, so that's that one for that one. Okay, there's your number there. Pause. And then I've got, oh god, it's all stuck to itself. The ejector seat parts, which I've been using. I did use some of these out of this one as well. So it's 32546. Okay, it's that one there, and they are somewhere. Where's the last one? Which actually isn't for this aircraft, but you can get away with it, whatever I've done with it. Sorry, it's not here. I don't know what I've done with it. Apologies. I've moved it somewhere. I don't know what I've done with it actually. What have I done with it? It's basically the interior colour photo etch set for the panels. That's what it is. Yeah, but I've put it somewhere. It's out of reach. I don't know quite what it is. Again, I haven't used any of it because I've done it buttoned up. I think the cockpit's lovely on this one. Doesn't really need it. So that's why I didn't bother at the end of the day. Still got to do the crew figure for this one. So we've got a little bit of work to do on that one. Okay, and Steve, the Admiral's in. Okay, hi Phil. If you get a chance, look at I'm trying to read that. AbandonedSpaces.com. Aircraft graveyard, former, can't even pronounce it, aerodrome, historic planes left to rot, used Moscow, oldest airfield, HTML. Right, okay. Is this the same place that Jamie Hago was referring to? I found some pictures, very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have a look afterwards. It could be. That's the amazing thing with Russia. They've got all that stuff just lying around. I don't know. I'll have to have a check with him. That's the other thing as well. I will mention Jamie, when he was here doing his little interview and all the rest of it, if you remember, he had that beautiful seaplane that he was working on. He sent me the full jobby all on it. So what I'll do is for Friday, we're going to have a little bit of work on that one. I will get it up onto the site so you can read it. It's basically like he's doing for a magazine he's done for us. Okay, so I've got that. I've downloaded it. I will get it transferred over onto the main site, and then you can be able to go onto the main site and see it as like a build thing about weathering and all the rest of it on there. I haven't been through it yet, but I will do, and I'll get it up by the end of the week. All right, so look out for that one. That'll be something special. Okay, hi Phil, just come across Bobby Wardering. Appreciate your Sanders. Is he? That looks like very old one. To be honest, you know, and this is the thing, no disrespect to Bobby, I quite like Bobby, he's alright. Bobby used to be a member of ours for years, and then he went off and set up his own. But unlike certain other companies, he's never made any bones about it, that he's like, you know, the new messiah. Bobby's actually a really good modeler, he's a very good friend of ours, and I think he had some Sanders off of us, and he was good enough to do a review for us and all the bits and pieces for it. That's got to be a couple of years old, judging by it, because those ones aren't cord coloured, and that's how I can see it, because when you look down in here at that picture, they are all the same colour. We changed over to core colouring about 3 years ago now, so I know that's got to be 3-4 years old now. So yeah, definitely looks like an older video, but yeah, good old Bobby. Go out and check him out at Genesis Models. He basically does like we do, but not as good clearly, but something else like that. But no, love to Bobby, no problem. Right, Landon says, hi Phil, will Mr. Dissolve Putty work good for getting rid of seam lines, a squadron green putty or white putty, or better for filling gaps? Thanks, Landon. The thing is with Dissolve Putty, which I do use, is we actually used it on this. This bit down the back here, I had, where are we, do that one. All right, we had on here, I don't know if you remember, but during the build, because this actually is a seam line runs across here, so we had to get rid of it totally because you don't get it on this at all. So I had a little sprue peg markers on that as well, and I'd overcut it. So what happened is there was a tiny little hole, so I used a little bit of this, which is Dissolve Putty, all right, just in there. Now that stuff I absolutely love for tiniest jobs. If you've got things like, you know, little tiny bits and you want it to dry quite quickly, you can obviously use homemade, like I call Well 101, which is the old code name. But yeah, this is the styrene putty, and put that in. But also if you just want a tiny little area, like scratches, stuff like that, you can put a little bit Dissolve Putty over it. This stuff dries really quickly, okay, and it goes hard really quickly, and you don't get much shrinkage from it either. It's quite good. It's on a par with this stuff. This stuff I think's got a bit better capability at doing stuff than this stuff, but for tiny little jobs it's absolutely fantastic. So you can just brush it on, you leave it, dries quite quick, you can sand it, and away you go. So little jobs, no problem. I wouldn't use this on anything more than a small job, and when you're saying small job, anything that's over 1 mil, forget it, it won't do it, it will shrink back, and also if it's too deep, you're going to get shrinkage with this as well, where I think actually styrene filler works a little bit better. Styrene filler, I imagine it as being like really thick weld, and it welds things together, and you can, you know, really get over some real big headaches with it and big problems. Dissolve Putty, not really. Also Dissolve Putty is a little bit more messy, but you can clean this up if you wanted to with lacquers or acetones, things like that as well, for cleaning them up. So it's quite a good handy thing for that one. But generally, rule of thumb, if it's a tiny little job, just a you know, something that you want dried and done and out of the way, if you didn't want to use sort of, you know, styrene filler, then Dissolve Putty, you could do it. But don't forget, you can get a little bit of squadron, thin it down with a little bit of lacquer thinners, and you can make Dissolve Putty just like that, and away you go, and it's good to go. But little jobs, I quite like it. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, so this is Alf. He says, hi Phil. Built planes until I was 14 or 15. I'm now 36, and haven't built a car since that. Most American cars seem to, American cars since it's a hobby in 1-to-1 scale. But last year I started trying planes and have a little collection of 1/48 scale. Would just like to thank you for helping me, getting me started again. That's all right, no problem. Since there's a big difference in techniques from cars. Bought your sanders, washes, pigments, good man, and have really satisfied about them. And other stuff that you've recommended. A little question from me. Why have you not built or reviewed any kits from Zucchimori Scale Wing Series or Great Wall Hobbies? Looks like they're great kits from my eye. I have their 1/48 scale MiG-29 SMT. I have. Have we not got any more? No, I gave it away. Do you know what? I gave away a 350 quid Zucchimori prize to you guys because I'm good like that. We do, and I have. A lot of it is, don't forget, when you see the reviews, they are only reviews from the last 2 years. Stuff pre that used to be on the Friday show. We used to just do a Friday show for 1 hour, and in amongst it we would have a review. A lot of those reviews are put in there. We did all the Zucchimori stuff. We did their Horton, we did their Sky Raider, because that's what we gave away as a kit, with the full weapon set and all the photo etch for it as well. And what else we do Zucchimori ones? Yeah, so we've done quite a few. And also I've reviewed Great Wall Hobbies F15 and their MiG-29 because they were kits from other members who lent me to do reviews for them, and we have done them as well. But again, they are part of the show, so you can't really find them that easy. If you do a search on the Flory Models site, you might come up with them, because I might have spoken about them somewhere, and you can see them in there. But yeah, absolutely, especially the Great Wall Hobbies. They had a bit of trouble with their F15, and then they did like a recall. You could get a spare sprue for the top area. They learnt from that fantastically. Their MiG-29 is still the best MiG-29 you can get easily, because it's a beautiful kit, and I love the one-piece molded missiles for that thing. It's in a world of its own, you know, because I haven't seen anybody else do one-piece missiles quite like they do it. That's some of the best slip molding I've ever seen on any kit. So from that point of view, I absolutely love them. And as for Zucchimori stuff, to be honest, I don't go out and buy tons of it. I find it's a little bit overpriced for what it is. I don't think it is as good as everyone raves on about. I still think it's no different from Tamiya or anything else, but they tend to put a massive price tag on it and things like that. Also, it's not readily available here in the UK, probably because of the price, but again, it's just one of those things. But occasionally we do get them in, and we have done it, but we have reviewed it before. We've done quite a bit of their things, and as I say, Great Wall Hobby stuff, absolutely fantastic. In fact, we have got some Great Wall Hobby stuff around, because I also did their 144 series. I did their Victor and various things like that as well, so we have done a bit of it. Okay, and that's it. We are up to date. There we go, live at almost 6 now, so we've almost gone an hour. I keep telling myself we're going to make these things shorter, but I haven't managed that. And remember to put the camera on to myself, Flory. So there we go. Thank you for joining us live at 5. Sorry we've gone on a little bit. I will try and keep them around about half an hour, but we had quite a few questions to go on, because we had obviously Friday to Tuesday instead of like the next day and things like that. So from that point of view, apologies. So that's it from me. Go off and see this beautiful kit. Get one if you can. Obviously we have got a limited number here for Flory Models members, but it is really limited because we couldn't get that many, because we've taken them out of stock in the UK, I think, from certain distributors. But if we can get some more at that price, we will try and do it. But anyway, the details, well, that will be up onto the forum just as soon as I've spoken about it with Matt as well on that one. So that's it from me. Happy modelling, take care, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.